Hello, and welcome back to English with Laura. I'm Laura.
And I'm Daniel. Hi, everyone.
Today we have something really useful for you, and a little bit fun too.
Yes, we have 100 English questions and answers for you to listen to, repeat, and shadow.
That's right, from A1 all the way to B2. Simple, everyday questions at the start, and more expressive, natural answers as we move up.
And the idea is simple. Laura asks a question, I answer, then you repeat the answer out loud.
Exactly. And if you want an extra challenge, try answering before you hear Daniel's response.
Oh, I like that idea. Test yourself first, then check.
That's the best way to practice. Okay, let's begin with A1. Short, simple, and very practical.
Ready when you are.
A1 questions are short and direct. Listen to the question, then repeat the answer.
Easy to start. Nice.
What is your name?
My name is Daniel.
Where are you from?
I am from Brazil.
How are you today?
I am fine, thank you.
How old are you?
I am 28 years old.
Do you speak English?
Yes, I speak a little English.
Good. Those are the kind of questions you hear every single day.
Right, and they come up fast. It's good to have the answers ready.
Exactly. A few more A1 questions. What do you do?
I am a student.
Where do you live?
I live in a small apartment in the city.
Do you have a family?
Yes, I have a mother, a father, and one sister.
What is your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue.
Can you spell your name?
Yes, Daniel.
Perfect. Simple, clear, and very useful. Now let's move to A2.
A2, a little more detail now.
That's right. A2 questions ask for a bit more. You need to give more information in your answer. Listen carefully. What time do you usually wake up?
I usually wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
What did you have for breakfast today?
I had toast and coffee for breakfast.
How do you get to work or school?
I take the bus. It takes about 20 minutes.
Do you like learning English? Why?
Yes, I do. I like it because it helps me talk to more people.
What do you usually do in the evenings?
I usually watch something on my phone or read a little before bed.
Those answers feel very real and natural.
They do. I can imagine saying all of those in a real conversation.
That's exactly what A2 is, practical everyday English. A few more. Have you ever been to another country?
Yes, I have. I went to Argentina 2 years ago.
What did you do there?
I visited some friends and explored the city for a week.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, very much. It was a great experience.
What are you planning to do this weekend?
I'm planning to rest at home and maybe go for a walk if the weather's nice.
That sounds lovely. Now let's move to B1. This is where the answers start to get really interesting.
B1. Getting more interesting now.
That's right. B1 questions ask for opinions, feelings, and explanations. Your answers need a little more depth. Listen and follow. What do you find most difficult about learning English?
Honestly, I find speaking the most difficult. I understand quite a lot, but when I have to speak quickly, I sometimes lose my words.
That's very relatable. Why do you think speaking is harder than listening?
I think it's because when you listen, you have time to process, but when you speak, everything has to happen at once. Thinking, choosing words, and keeping calm.
That is a really thoughtful answer. How do you try to improve your speaking?
I try to practice a little every day. I shadow English videos, and I talk to myself sometimes, which sounds strange, but it actually helps.
It works really well, actually. What would you do if you could live in an English-speaking country for a year?
I think I would try to make local friends as quickly as possible. The best way to improve is to be around the language every day.
Wonderful answer. A few more B1 questions. How has your English improved since you started learning?
I think my listening has improved the most. I can follow conversations and videos much more easily than before.
What advice would you give to someone just starting to learn English?
I would tell them not to be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes are how you learn. Just keep going.
Do you prefer studying alone or with other people?
I prefer studying alone, actually. I can go at my own pace, and I don't feel embarrassed when I make errors.
That is such an honest and important answer. And now, our final level today, B2.
B2. Okay, these are going to make me think, but I'm ready.
B2 questions are more nuanced. Your answers need to show reasoning, perspective, and more complex ideas. Listen carefully. Do you think immersion is the most effective way to learn a language?
It can be, but I don't think it's the only way. Immersion works well when you have a strong foundation already. Without some structure first, immersion can feel overwhelming, and you might not retain as much as you expect.
That's a well-balanced answer. How important is accent when speaking a second language?
I think accent matters less than clarity. As long as people can understand you, a strong accent is not a barrier. In fact, it often adds character. What matters is that your meaning comes through cleanly.
Do you think technology has made language learning easier or more complicated?
Easier in many ways, but it can also be distracting. Too many resources can make it hard to commit to one approach and actually build consistency.
What do you think is the biggest barrier for adult language learners?
I'd say it's fear. Adults worry about sounding foolish or making basic mistakes in front of others. Children don't carry that same self-consciousness, which is why they often pick up languages more naturally.
Beautifully put. A few more B2 questions to finish. How would you describe your relationship with the English language?
Honestly, it's complicated. Some days it feels natural and I surprise myself. Other days I feel like I'm back at the beginning. But I think that's normal for any language learner. You keep going, even when progress feels invisible.
Do you think learning a language changes the way you think?
I think it does, yes. When I speak English, I notice I express certain ideas differently, sometimes more directly, sometimes more carefully. Each language seems to offer a slightly different way of seeing things.
How do you stay motivated when learning feels slow or frustrating?
I remind myself why I started, and I look back at where I was a year ago. Progress is always there. You just can't always see it from inside the journey.
That is a beautiful note to end on. Well done, Daniel.
From my name is Daniel all the way to that. What a journey.
Exactly that, and you followed every step of it. Let's take a moment to look at what you just practiced.
Yes, because the questions felt very different at each level.
They were. At A1, the questions were short and personal. Name, age, where you're from, one idea, one answer.
A2 added more everyday detail, things like routines, preferences, past experiences.
Exactly. A2 starts to feel like a real conversation. At B1, the questions became more personal and reflective. They asked for opinions, feelings, and explanations, not just facts.
And those answers needed more thought, more structure.
Right. And at B2, the questions became more analytical. They asked for perspective, reasoning, and nuanced thinking. You needed to consider more than one side of an idea.
I noticed the answers got longer naturally, not because I was padded, but because the questions just required more.
That's exactly how language growth works. The questions pull out the language you already have inside you, and shadowing those answers helps you build the patterns you don't have yet.
So even if I can't answer a B2 question today, shadowing the answer still helps?
Absolutely. You're building the rhythm and the structure. The meaning comes with time. Let's highlight some of the most useful phrases from today.
There were so many good ones. I want to remember all of them.
Let's start at A1. Yes, I speak a little English. Simple, honest, and very reassuring to say in a real situation.
That one never gets old. It's polite, and it keeps the conversation going without pressure.
Exactly. From A2, I like it because it helps me talk to more people. This is a great structure. I like it because you can finish it with anything.
I like it because it makes me feel more confident. You can use it everywhere.
At B1, I try to practice a little every day. Short, clear, and very natural. It shows habit and commitment without over-explaining.
That one sounds genuine, not trying too hard.
And this one from B1, mistakes are how you learn. Just keep going. 2 short sentences with a lot of meaning.
I want to say that to myself every time I feel stuck.
And from B2, as long as people can understand you, a strong accent is not a barrier, a real opinion and a real reassurance, not just a grammar structure.
That one genuinely made me feel better when I said it.
And finally, progress is always there. You just can't always see it from inside the journey. That's a kind of sentence that stays with you.
It really does, and it applies to so much more than English.
It truly does. These phrases grow with you, simple and honest at A1, thoughtful and layered by B2. Now let's practice together. I'll ask you a question, you answer out loud. Ready?
Ready.
Start simple. What is your name?
My name is Daniel.
Good. Where are you from?
I am from Brazil.
Now a little more detail. What do you usually do in the evenings?
I usually watch something on my phone or read a little before bed.
Nice. Now give an opinion. What do you find most difficult about learning English?
I find speaking the most difficult. I understand quite a lot, but speaking quickly is a challenge.
Excellent. Now reason it out. Why do you think speaking is harder than listening?
Because when you speak, everything has to happen at once. Thinking, choosing words, and keeping calm.
Wonderful. Now go deeper. Do you think technology has made language learning easier or more complicated?
Easier in many ways, but it can also be distracting. Too many resources can make it hard to stay consistent.
That is a strong B2 answer. And one final question. How do you stay motivated when learning feels slow?
I remind myself why I started, and I look back at where I was a year ago.
Perfect. You just moved from a simple introduction all the way to a reflective B2 response in one connected sequence.
And it felt natural, like a real conversation.
Because it was. That's the goal. Now let's shadow. Listen to my connected speech first, then repeat the whole thing out loud. My name is Laura. I speak a little English, but I practice every day. I find speaking the most difficult part, but I keep going because mistakes are how you learn. As long as people can understand me, I feel confident. Progress is always there, even when I can't see it. Now your turn. Listen again, then shadow the whole thing, calm and steady. Now here's Daniel's version, a little shorter. Listen, then shadow.
I'm Daniel. English isn't always easy, but I enjoy the journey. Some days I surprise myself. Other days I feel like I'm starting again. But I remind myself why I started, and I keep going. That's enough.
Shadow Daniel's version too. It has real rhythm, real feeling, and real English. Well done. You just shadowed connected English from A1 all the way to B2 in one smooth, natural flow. And that's our 100 English questions and answers practice. Well done for making it all the way through.
That was genuinely enjoyable. The questions at B2 really made me think.
You practiced questions and answers from A1 all the way to B2. And the most important thing, you spoke out loud.
Not just listened, answered. That's the difference.
Every answer you gave today, even the simple ones, is a real step forward. Those steps add up.
I feel more ready for a real conversation now. Even the harder questions don't feel as scary.
That's exactly where we want you to be. Keep practicing. You're doing better than you think. Before you go, we have a question for you. Which question from today was your favorite or your most challenging? Tell us in the comments.
And try answering one of the B2 questions in the comments too. We would love to read your answers.
If this helped you, please like the video and subscribe. We have so much more English practice coming for you.
You really don't want to miss it.
Thank you so much for practicing with us today. Keep going. You're doing great.
See you next time.
Bye for now.